John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com through another exciting episode for you today. I'm here in Vegas and it is 105 degrees here, nice and warm. I'm totally used to this weather and hopefully you are too if you guys live in the desert. I don't want you guys to stay inside your air-conditioned house all day. I want you guys to get outside and garden. And that's what this video is about today. We're just in a standard residential neighborhood tract home, right? And I want to show you guys Derek's backyard. Now Derek, you don't understand. Derek is an amazing man. He has his own YouTube channel, link down below in the description for that. I visited Derek for the first time maybe like 5 years ago and then had a follow-up visit maybe 3 years ago. Links down below to the videos I've made in the past with Derek. And the first video I remember, coming to his place and seeing it, like a lot of his fruit trees are really small. And some of those fruit trees now have grown up to be a lot larger and they are producing. I mean, we're here in August right now, and I mean, Derek is the man you want to know if you want to grow tropical fruits, and even more so, be successful at growing tropical fruits and other fruit trees in Las Vegas, right? He used to be a bus driver, but he had to walk away from his bus driving job because he got so busy with helping people to grow their own fruit trees, especially tropical ones, which is his specialty that nobody else in town can do for you. But Derek can because he has the experience and know-how to do it. He's been growing in Vegas for about the last 10 years, but more importantly, he comes from an agriculture background from Belize, where he went to agriculture school when he was, in his teenage years and learned from farmers the traditional ways of growing in Belize. So he's taken his knowledge from agriculture back in the day when he used to live in his country, and now he's transitioned that and then had to grow his knowledge to be able to be successful in Vegas. And that's what I want to show you guys in this video, that he is a legit, he knows his stuff. We talked for like about an hour. I'm just questioning him, firing him on questions. He's making sense, all his answers are right. And so I want to show you guys what he does. And then more importantly, the reason for this video is because he messaged me yesterday on Facebook Messenger. And, I mean, I actually check my messages sometimes, and sometimes I don't see him for a week. But I'm glad I checked his messages. He says, "John, I got pawpaws ripe on my tree. You better get here by Wednesday or they're going to be gone." And when he said pawpaws in Las Vegas, first thing I said, I mean, I knew he had some trees because I've seen him that first trip 5 years ago or whenever I was here. And then I'm like, "Pawpaws, I'm there." I'm like, "Okay, I could come tomorrow." And he's like, "Yeah, come tomorrow." So I'm here. So we're gonna actually show you guys an extremely rare crop. I mean, Derek's the only guy that I know that grows pawpaws in Las Vegas successfully. I mean, you could try, and I mean, when I was here years ago, I gave him some tips, which he's used some of them. But I mean, that's a very difficult tree to grow here in the desert. Now, yes, pawpaws are an amazing fruit tree that grows from, from the Mexican border probably all the way up through into Canada. Link down below to my video where I made dedicated to the pawpaw tree and what an amazing fruit it is. And for most areas of the country, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Pennsylvania, you could just grow them pretty easily. But Vegas, you have to work hard, and Derek puts the love and care into all his babies to get them to fruit. So anyways, let's head into his backyard and show you guys what he's done in his backyard, literally to turn the desert of the backyard, which most landscaping is like rock landscaping, into literally a jungle. And it's a lot more jungly than when I was here last time. So we're about to enter his backyard food forest here, and he has a nice sign out like, "If you need me, I'll be in the garden." And that's kind of like me too. People come up to my front door, be knocking all day. I won't even hear them because I'm in the backyard working. I hope a lot of you guys also are in the backyard in your gardens a lot, because we need to connect with nature and we're so disconnected with nature. And that's the beautiful thing that Derek can help you with if you guys live here in the Las Vegas, Henderson, and surrounding areas. He could help you to have a food forest like his with little or no work at all, right? If you're the kind of person that doesn't have a lot of money, you could hire Derek as your teacher, right? Your hands-on teacher. He will come over, he will say, "Get this soil, buy these trees, drive to California, buy these trees from this place, bring them back, and then I will show you and teach you how to plant them yourself so that I don't have to do the work for you. You could do it, but you have to follow my specific instructions, right? And a lot of people could do that because you guys don't have a lot of money to hire them, you know, as a regular thing to get everything going, right? Some of you guys don't want to lift a shovel. You don't have to put in irrigation line. You don't have to deal with any of that stuff, and you got a little bit more money. Derek will do that for you as well. And if you're on the upper echelon and a good wage earner and make a lot of money, right, you could just hire Derek to do everything. You could just say, here, Derek, you know, do my whole backyard, go to California, drive to California for me, bring back the best trees, plan them out exactly where you think they're going to do well. I'll put in the irrigation, have it go off automatically, and then I'll have you, Derek, come back twice a week, every week, to make sure my stuff grows so that when I get off work at night, I can go to my backyard and enjoy my fruits that Derek grew for you. But, you know, and he could just enjoy nature and connect with nature, de-stress from that, you know, high power, high stress job that people have. And so that's a truly amazing thing about Derek, is that he's there for all different skill levels, whether you want to do the work or whether you don't. Derek is your teacher man to help you make it happen. So anyways, let's check out his backyard. So this is Derek's backyard here in the Mojave Desert in Las Vegas, and he used to have a lot more grass area. So link down below to my video that I made first time when I came here. It was a lot more grass. He's maybe not maintaining the grass as much anymore because he's like, John, I'm turning this on the forest. I'm planting more trees. And sure enough, a lot of the trees that I saw that were younger when I was there my first trip have ballooned out. They're huge, and he prunes them. He does everything he needs to get them to fruit, and more importantly, be happy in accordance to nature. So that's the other thing about Derek, guys. I want you guys to understand, right? He's not going to sit there and sprinkle chemical pesticides and fertilizers on the trees, right? That will give your trees a big disadvantage because your trees will not be as healthy. They won't have to protect themselves, right? What he does is he works on growing them naturally. So I'll show you guys some examples of, he basically mulches the tree heavy. He gets the best soil and brings in other amendments that will support the tree's health, as well as the rhizosphere, the root zone of the tree, so that's going to be healthy in the long term. He also does in-ground composting right at the base of the tree, so he doesn't have to compost off-site and then, you know, then sift it and put it where it needs to be. He just basically builds a compost right at the base of the tree so that the trees have all the nutrients they need. So if you decide to go with Derek, you know, you have to go with Derek's plan, because if you start introducing chemicals and, oh, my tree's not working well, I think, you know, I know more than Derek, I'm just going to put some fertilizer because that's what they told me at Star Nursery, you know, then your trees might lose their life. So just trust in Derek's methods and madness, because this is what you will achieve because of it. You know, in order to save some time, I think what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and do a hand cam shot, and I'm going to take you guys around his yard, show you guys what's growing and how he's growing it. All right, so we're going to start here, and this is walking into the backyard. You can see we got some sugar cane he's growing. He's got lots of sugar cane. He likes to use these as like a windbreak and even for shade protection, because he'll know they grow big and then they'll shade whatever's behind it. So he plants the sugar cane intentionally. Plus, of course, you can juice the sugar cane. And hopefully another episode I'll bring over my sugar cane juicer so he could juice it, because he didn't got one. And then, of course, he's got, you know, fig trees. He's got like citrus trees that are producing really nice. Here is a Asian pear tree. You guys can see this Asian pear tree is just loaded up with fruit. You got to protect the fruit from the birds, otherwise they will get them. He's got like more citrus trees right here, more sugar cane, more citrus with some citrus right there on the tree. All right, moving on over here, you can see he's got a nice guava, and he specializes in growing guavas. That's one of the tropical trees that could grow without protection, depending if you have the proper placement and soil nutrition. So yeah, you can see the guavas. You can see there's a guava on the tree, and there's a few more spattered along in there. All right, so you can see he has an apple tree here. It looks like he's harvested them all for the year. He's also got things like pineapple guavas. He's got the papaya tree that he's trying to get to fruit in the pot. There's a persimmon tree right there. You guys can see there's some persimmons right up there. There's more down here. Persimmons are an excellent fruit to grow, one of my favorites in Las Vegas. I'd encourage you to grow some like chocolate or coffee cake persimmons. They're quite delicious. Going back through his jungle more here, you know, he's got things like little bananas. This is a big mulberry tree right here, makes the different kinds of fruit. And in this area, he has some birds of paradise, not necessarily a fruit tree. Oh, this is one of my favorites. This is the jujube tree right there. Fig tree right there. Sugar cane right there. And then we get back to this little protected area, right? So he knows that some trees need protection and some don't. So if you don't want to have protection, you could say, hey, Derek, I want to have trees that don't need any protection. And he could plant you those trees. But if you don't mind some protection, then you could grow things like avocados. He has a bunch of different avocado trees over here. And then if you look over here, he's got, this is a date palm. So you could grow your own dates. I love growing dates because the fruits store really well. You can see here his apple tree is loaded up. We got the mesh cloth on there to protect it from the birds. You can see if we back up a little bit, that's what it looks like, protected. And then these are all dates, palms that he grew from the date pit, the seeds. Yeah, date seeds are viable for up to 5,000 years. I mean, they found some in some, tombs or something, and then they sprouted them many years later. So yeah, date palms, something I'd recommend you grow if you got the space. But watch out, the fronds could get quite thorny like needles. But watch out, the date palm through all stages of its life will have these little thorns on them that are like needles, and they will get you. All right, so here's a little structure here. So he knows that, some trees you have to protect from the harsh sun. Many trees you don't, but some trees you do. So he's got basically a reflective shade cloth on this tree, which is his loquat tree that produces reliably for him every year. The other thing I want to kind of go down to is like below his trees, right? You think, John, that looks like rubbish. No, that's all compost right there, guys. So he basically just adds, yard clippings and food scraps down to the bottom, lets it break down over time and feed the worms and create the best soil that is not existing in Las Vegas. So it's always the best to make your own soil. And that's what he's doing here. And I mean, to me, this is one of the primary reasons why Derek's methods work, because he's creating some of the best soil to give the trees the optimal nutrition, literally from broken down plants, by not using the chemicals. So now I want to show you guys the 3 fruit trees that you should grow if you want a low maintenance fruit tree that's going to grow year round for you in the desert pretty reliably and easily. First is the fig tree. So you guys can see he's got some figs on there. Let me see, he's got a bunch of ripe ones there. If you got to get them before the birds, though, that's the problem. Oh, there's a ripe one there, so we're going to go ahead and pick it. All right, another tree that produces reliably in Vegas, really simply and easily. This is his pomegranate tree. As you guys can see, it's huge, maybe like pushing 20 feet tall. You could also keep them pruned back, but it's got some really nice, large pomegranates on there. There's a whole bunch there more. And then the final tree I want you guys to grow that are super easy is this one right next door. This one people don't know about. It's actually called the jujube, and actually of all these 3, well, I mean, I really like figs, but I prefer jujubes even more. So the jujube fruit, these little fruits, they look like apples, and this is actually related to apples in the same rose family. You could eat them when they're hard and like that, or they're gonna dry a little bit on the tree, and then they taste amazing. They're also known as Chinese dates or red dates, which, Chinese people use them in like Chinese medicine for like over 5,000 years. People usually make a tea out of them, but I just love to eat them. So those are the 3 fruit trees I want you guys to grow. But then as an honorable mention, this is not quite a tree, but it's the Nopales cactus. I mean, Derek's Nopales cactus, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm just gonna try to get it from the top. But you guys see the density of the cactus pads that are growing up. I mean, this is insanity density right here. I've never seen them grow this dense. Now, my recommendation to Derek would be, hey man, you need to start harvesting some of your pads and getting them into you and eating them, because the pads are edible just like vegetables. He has so many doggone pads, and of course the young baby tender ones are the best to eat. But of course the Nopales cactus will also make amazingly delicious fruit. And as you guys can see, Derek's also loaded up with this amazing cactus fruit, right? The cactus would be one of the most amazing things you could have in your front yard in an HOA, because everybody has cactus plants, right? They're fine, but yet you could still make some fruit in your front yard under cover of your HOA. Of course, you don't want to plant things like, some of these fruit trees or sugarcane in your front yard. That'll look too obvious, but hey, everybody has a cactus plant. All right, next I want to show you guys this fruit tree right here. This is an avocado. that Derek says produces for him. I think it's a Zutano avocado, and you guys can see it's actually quite tall. And I mean, for those of you guys that are tree experts, you know, you guys could look at the leaves and say, wow, man, that is a healthy plant. There's very little burn on this tree. It's been growing in this location for many years. I remember the last time I visited, the first time I visited was here, and it was a much smaller. And you know, normally avocados probably should be protected in Las Vegas, but you know, Derek planted it right behind a larger overstory tree that's existing here, so that this helps keep it a little bit warmer. And of course, there'll be avocado varieties that are more sensitive or less sensitive to the cold. So Derek could help you select the varieties that are going to be most resilient to the cold, and then couple that with his tips on building the best soil and placement in the right location, and maybe protecting it a little bit, right? A little bit more maintenance, right, than some of the other fruit trees I just showed. You could have your own Las Vegas grown avocados, which Derek has shown in the past on his YouTube channel. That the link is down below for his YouTube channel to see, you know, when he harvests and eat things, you know, to prove to you guys that don't believe him, he's doing what he says. And I mean, I'm just looking at his place, and it's obvious that he's living this. He's not just making up stuff, guys. All right, something else I really want you guys to grow here in the desert are these. And you're like, what kind of fruits are those? Those are pistachio nuts, guys. Pistachios, they could get quite expensive at the store. They're one of the healthiest nuts to eat, high in antioxidants, good fiber for our microbiome. They're gonna grow quite well, and they're a storage food, you know? So a lot of fruits, you gotta eat them or they're gonna go bad, but if you don't eat the pistachios, right, they drop, you dry them properly, and then you could store them for like a year, right? If we go over a little bit more, you'll see he has an almond tree over here. Next to his pistachio tree, it looks like he has another guava tree. All right, another nut you guys might want to grow are the almonds. And right now his almonds are in season, so when they're ready to eat, the fruits crack on the plant. And so you could just harvest one. And you can see there, we're just gonna basically take the almond out in the shell. Right there, and I could crack open the shell and eat the almond from the inside. All right, so there's the almond out of the shell. Not like the dried stuff that you get at the store. Nice and watery. Now, the whole reason for this episode today was because of this tree right here. This is the pawpaw tree. He actually has two of them, basically two trees in one hole, basically. He has it protected under cover. That's very important, especially when they're young. You need to protect these from the sun. They can't handle direct sun. And even then, he's found trying to take the cover off because he's a little bit larger. He needs to kind of taper that off and harden them off slowly to the sun. But if you look closely here, as we come down, you guys can see he's got fruit. He's already harvested some fruit off the tree, but there's a fruit hanging, yes. These ones look like little mangoes, and it is related to the mango. But once again, this is a subtropical exotic fruit that's, you know, related to the mango that travel in the guts of mastodons all the way up to Canada. So even in Canada, you could grow these guys. And there's ones on the tree, and we're gonna see, like, we're just not gonna pull it too hard, but it's getting soft. We're gonna let it drop naturally because that's the best way to find when they're ripe. But if we look over there on the ground, look at that. There's a ripe fruit on the ground that he said just dropped this morning. So I'm going to pick that up and we're going to eat that in just a little bit. But before we do, I want to go ahead and show you guys the rest of the tour of Derek's backyard. So the secret to Derek's success are many, besides just growing the plants, the right plants, you know, growing them in the right location, having the best soil, watering them appropriately, right? He also puts up structures in some cases, sometimes when they're young, sometimes when they're a little bit older, that he'll cover. And this is especially important for many of the tropical fruits that he grows through the winter here in Las Vegas under this shade house structure. In addition, the house could also help with keeping some plants more humid because we live in an arid climate and tropical trees usually love more humidity. And that's what he has right here. He set up a little, it was first like a hoop house, but now it's turned into like a little shade house. And in the wintertime, he'll basically wrap this in plastic to keep it warm in here, where he has the most tropical fruit trees I've ever seen in Las Vegas. I mean, he has like sapodillas, he has black sapote, he has jackfruit, he has avocado, he has so many different kinds of different fruit trees, Monstera deliciosa. And the way he makes it work is by having fish. So he has a fish pond in here, and he heats up the fish pond, guys. And then when he heats up the fish pond, you know, number one, that'll release some humidity into the air, so these tropical plants will get more humidity. And more importantly, in the wintertime when he surrounds this with plastic, he'll crank up the heater a little bit hotter to keep it warm in here, so inside this area of his yard does not freeze. And he has all different kinds of things growing up. I wanted to show you guys this. He's got these rose apples. I mean, I've never seen these guys outside of Hawaii. And he's like, there's a lot. Look at this big cluster, guys. Look at this cluster. He has them all wrapped up so the birds and the other animals can't get them. But yeah, it's got lots of different fruit trees in here. Carambola, tamarind, all different kinds. We could go in on that side. We could go in on this side. Here's some Indian gooseberry tree right here. You can see them all. He got them all wrapped up. He's got a June plum back over here. And he's got a bunch of mangoes. I don't know, all these different things. He's got some like Suriname cherries, Barbados cherries. This is a tamarind fruit tree. Here's a papaya right here. Here's a banana over there. Of course, you know, he's got just standard pear tree over there, like that's outside of the enclosure. But he's got lots of different fruit trees stacked in here. And even though they're stacked in here, right, they produce. I think I want to show you guys a sapodilla that's actually on his tree right now, or chico sapote. All right, guys, so it's like a jungle in here, but let's see if we get you a shot of the chico sapote. It's like hanging. All right, there it is. There's his chico sapote hanging on the tree. He has two trees. One tree is a little bit more productive than the other one. All right, continuing on with the tour, he also, of course, has just standard figs, but then he grows the tea, which I think the leaves are edible, from Hawaii, the tea plant. He also got some mangoes here that he just basically grafting, so he could do all the different grafting techniques, air layering, you know, rooting. And here's a big dragon fruit right there. He's got a big dragon fruit, like lots of different kinds of dragon fruit, including special varieties that are like green on the outside when ripe. So he's got them all growing up there. And then this is really special, guys. You guys don't understand what this is. This is a breadfruit tree. He's growing in this enclosure, and this is extremely frost sensitive, and this tree looks really healthy to me. He's got all these techniques that he's doing to make this happen, including using the bottom half of a rolling garbage can that he cut down so he'd have a big enough pot so that the roots could spread out. Of course, he's got, you know, more mangoes, new mangoes that he planted. And then let's look at the ground here. So the ground here, like literally he just has it heavily mulched with all his own food scraps and clippings from his trees to build up better soil. All right, so I want to show you guys this technique because I hadn't really heard anybody else do this technique before, so I wanted to share with you guys. So basically, you might think this looks like the garbage that Derek forgot to take out, because it's like just sitting here in a random bucket in like a bag, and it's basically, if you look at it, it's basically inside there is like rotten fruit. You smell it? It smells stanky, guys, you know? But basically what Derek is doing, he's basically pre-fermenting the rotten fruits and kitchen scraps to get them all kind of funky and soft, right? He lets them ferment and kind of sit in here and kind of go bad, right? And then once they go bad, then he puts it in his garden, right? And underneath the trees, because it's already partially broken down. And because if he's putting food scraps in like this, it's not going to attract rodents and other creatures to eat it, because at this point it's just rotten, and the only thing that's going to want to eat it are like the earthworms and the beneficial microbes in the soil. All right, so Derek's like me, man. If he sees some like open space in his yard, he's like putting something in pots and experimenting. So here under like a nice shaded area in his patio, he's got a white sapote tree. And as you guys can see, it's got a fruit on it. And this was in different areas of his yard. But now he's, you know, got it the fruit here. And he's been experimenting for all these last 10 years here in Las Vegas, right? He knows this climate. He's been experimenting with different plants in different areas. He's bought in a lot of trees and actually lost and killed a lot of trees. But he has also had a lot of successes. And literally that is what you get when you hire Derek to do your project, to help you be your teacher, to guide you to grow those tropical fruit trees here in Las Vegas. I haven't met anybody that knows more about tropical fruit trees in Vegas. Yeah, you might call some random landscaper, they'll say, I grew fruit trees in Vegas. Well then, no, you want to tell them, you want to say, I want to comb it over your yard and see your success, right? You guys have this video where I'm visiting Derek's yard, showing you guys on camera, like there's no CGI used here, right? And if you're really hardcore and you really want to see Derek's place, maybe he'll even let you come over and give you a tour to show you guys like that he's legit, right? But I'm telling you guys, he's legit. He's experimented day in, day out for the last 10 years, bought a lot of trees, lost a lot of trees, and he knows what works and what doesn't. He knows what's really difficult and what's hard, what you need to protect, what you don't, right? He knows all these things, and he would love to help you guys because he wants more people in Las Vegas to be growing more fruit trees, right? He wants people to be growing their own food, have higher quality food. He sees empty backyards as just wasted space, and he could help make it happen for you. You can see some more of his experiments over here. He's just got some more dragon fruit cuttings that he's going to pot up. He's got some, he's now experimenting with olive trees. Olive trees are another amazing fruit tree that will grow amazing in the desert, and olives are really nutritious as well. So I'd encourage you guys to plant an olive tree. That actually might be a good, tree for your front yard if your HOA doesn't mind olive trees. They are using some HOAs in the front yards, but then once the fruits drop, they could stain the concrete, so then some people may not like them. But I want to turn around the camera and show you guys one of Derek's biggest passions and experiments these days that he gets most excited about. And actually, after seeing this palm, I was excited too. So since Derek has already experimented with a lot of different tropical fruit trees, right, he keeps pushing the envelope. I just showed you guys his experiment with the breadfruit, which is definitely more ultra tropical than some of the other things he has grown in the past, so he's put in a special area. But he also literally built this cage out of the PVC pipe for this palm right here, which is a tropical palm that he grew up with in Belize, right? This is the largest coconut palm. Yes, the coconut palm, one of my favorite honorary fruits, because technically it is a drupe, right? And this is an amazing coconut palm. Like, I've seen coconut palms like grow on the beach in Hawaii and in Puerto Rico and on Fiji. But I'll tell you guys, this coconut palm is one of the healthiest that I've seen in a long time, right? He designed a special system to keep it warm. Now, this is going on his third year, so he's kept this alive over 2 winters, because honestly, the coconut could probably handle the heat of the summer and the sun, but it's going to have big problems in the winter time. And one of the tips I'll give you guys with many different tropical trees that grow here in the desert, one of the things that Derek likes to stress is that, man, in the winter time, if you guys are growing tropical fruit trees, right, don't water them every day. Don't water them even once a week. You might need to water them just once a month, right, because the water could get in the ground, freeze the ground, transfers cold, maybe like suffocates the plant because it's just too cold. It's not evaporating as quickly as it would in the summer. You lose your plant. So he has a special PVC pipes going into this big pot to just water it like once a month in the wintertime, but during the summer he's just dumping buckets of water on the coconut palm, including when he clears out his fish tank that has more salty water. He loves to feed the coconut palms salt water because, I mean, coconut palms, after all, live on the beach near the ocean. In addition, while this, he also really has researched and knows how different tree roots grow. From living in Belize and digging up trees and moving them when he was a child, he has a visual image of what different fruit tree roots will look like, so he will plant them accordingly, right? So, for example, the coconut will have more of a tap root because they got to be able to sway in the wind because they're on the beach when there's like a hurricane coming in, right? It doesn't have shallow roots that go really far. So he basically built like a cone, a tower, to go right down so the tree could send a nice taproot down, but then at the bottom it opens up so that then once it goes down far, then the roots could spread out. And he's also, of course, made the exact soil blend tailored to the coconut palm that, emulates its needs. So like he's added a lot of sand, and of course he's got the good stuff like the rock dust, the azomite, some of the other amendments that actually I would also recommend as well, including the perlite in there, so we get some good drainage, because coconuts don't like to say they wouldn't do good in, you know, muddy soil or clay soil. But yeah, this coconut. Oh, and then another technique he uses, like oh man, there's a brown leaf on the bottom, man. Like normal people would just clip off brown leaves, but once again, we have to remember we're growing the coconut palm here in Las Vegas in a climate very different from where it would grow in nature. Surely if you're in Hawaii and there's a brown leaf on the bottom, you clip that leaf off, the plant would just keep growing. But he wants to give his plants every possible advantage. So in nature, right, truly in nature, there wouldn't be people with pruning shears trimming the brown stuff off, right? The tree would let the brown leaf go, or the frond go, when it was ready, not when we're ready. So that's another thing Derek tries to do, is work with nature instead of implementing, you know, our beliefs on how nature should be, which is what most landscapers in Las Vegas are going to do. They're going to be like, oh, it's got to look perfect, pristine. We're going to cut off all the dead stuff. But when you cut off dead stuff that still has some living parts, you're exposing living parts of the plant. Now the plant has to go back and heal. So in this way, the way he's doing, he lets the plant heal itself on its time instead of on our time. All right, so of course, Derek also has a smaller vegetable garden area. He has a lot of vegetables mixed in underneath some of his fruit trees and other plants that he's growing. But he has a nice large raised bed where basically he doesn't plant anything. He just sprinkles some seeds out and everything grows. Currently here in August, he looks like he's got lots of Swiss chard. Really does great in the heat, as well as some kind of collard greens growing all throughout this big, large raised bed. Of course, he could also help you guys grow vegetables, but really, in my mind, you know, Derek is the tropical fruit tree expert specifically, right? He knows exactly the tropical fruit trees that you may have had when you lived in the Philippines or in India or, you know, in the Caribbean when you live there, and he could help you to grow those, as well as all the other amazing fruit trees that could grow here in the desert, some with very little care, as I showed earlier. All right, so I'm blending into the pawpaw, the understory. I found another ripe fruit on here. Let's see if it's ripe. Nope, this one's a bit more firm. So the one on the other side is coming off first, then this one. But today, right now, right, this one that has fallen naturally off the tree, it just gives the gentle pressure, much like an avocado when they get ripe. It is ready to eat. We're gonna go ahead and open this up on camera, and I'm gonna have the pawpaws for the first time for like 4 years. You know, I used to go over to the East Coast and bring back pawpaws from Maryland when I'd go there in September, but I haven't been going over to the East Coast since the pandemic. So I'm glad to try some for the first time ever Las Vegas pawpaws, and I don't think many people have ever even had pawpaws on this side of the country, because they're much more popular on the East Coast, which is where they're both basically originated from. All right, so now I have the pleasure of introducing you guys to Derek Martinez of Abba Garden on YouTube. Once again, link down below to his channel. He has lots of content on his channel showing you guys exactly what he grows, when he's harvesting it, how he's eating it, all this kind of stuff. And Derek, why did you start to grow pawpaws here in Las Vegas of all places? It's not something that is normally grown here, and like you're probably the only guy that has ever grown pawpaws here in Las Vegas that I know of anyways.
Yeah. Man, I was shooting a video here in the yard about butterflies and just pop up over the phone, you know. Oh, well, this papa fruit give nice, beautiful flowers, butterflies that come around. So
it attracts the butterflies.
Yeah, so I say, oh man, well, and I look the color of the butterflies, they're like black and white, beautiful. So I said, I need to get me 2 trees, you know. So I ordered me 2 trees, and the 2 trees come with like a little bit of stick,
like a foot.
Yeah,
like a little stick.
Even the tag a little bit bigger than it, you know. So I say, all right, good. I put up the tag and I plant it. But you was the one that come after a couple of years and explained to me, no, they carry like good fruits and good nutrients for the body, but you need to cover them up like in the summertime and the winter. You can leave them open. That's when I start looking into it and be like, oh man, that's when I start to grow papa. Really
it's like the reverse tropical fruit. Most of the plants that he has to protect in the wintertime, because all his tropical plants, you know, will freeze in the winter, but the pawpaws, They love the winter, man. They love the cold. I mean, they live in Pennsylvania, Maryland, all these cold places, even Canada, where these trees live through the cold, but the intense heat of the summer, that's what they're not used to. So it's totally the reverse opposite. So, I got to give it to Derek, because he pays attention to the love and care of his plants, whatever it takes, whether you got to shade them in the summer or protect them in the winter, he's there to do it because he wants his plants to survive. And I mean, that's the problem that most people have trying to grow fruit trees, right? Especially tropical fruit trees in a non-tropical environment. They're like, oh, I bought a mango, I put it in the ground, it died in the winter. Like, dude, you got to protect it, man. So he knows everything you need to do to protect all those tropicals here in Vegas. And of course, he'll know the ones that will work because he's experimented and lost many trees over the years. And he knows the ones that won't work. Anyways, let's dig in to this pawpaw. So we're just going to cut it in half. How many times have you eaten pawpaw, Derek?
It's my first time.
So you had one off the tree like maybe yesterday? Or
Yeah, yesterday. The first one I see fall on the ground. So I said, wow, let me see if it's real, if it's ready. So I just check on it. I was like, wow. And when I bust it open, the smell and the taste, oh my God. In my mind, I'm saying, why I never plant more pawpaw tree? So your people don't live with no regrets. If you will plant one or two, trust me, you want to plant many.
You want to plant many, absolutely. Yeah, check my link down below to the video I did on pawpaws. I mean, back east they have pawpaw, festivals and all these things. And it's the most amazing tropical fruit you could grow in the temperate climates. And that's why most of you guys should be growing them. In Vegas, of course, it's going to be a little more difficult, but in places like Pennsylvania and the Midwest, it's going to be simple for you guys to grow this. Because, yeah, actually, it is native. And, Derek bought selected cultivars. I think Shenandoah is one of them. Some good cultivars that will produce better quality fruit, because you could also get seedlings, which, of course, Derek's going to turn all these into the first Vegas seedling pawpaws that are, like, literally born in Nevada. So he's only had it for the first time. Meanwhile, I've had it. I mean, I've known about pawpaws for at least like 20 years. The first time I saw it at a farmer's market in San Rafael, California, which is actually quite rare. It rarely even shows up at the farmer's market from the farmer that grew it, and they were really expensive. And then when I started going back east, I was at the farmer's market, and I saw they were selling them there at the farmer's market, and I would just buy 20 pounds and then fly back the next day on the airplane, and they were my carry-on. You have to put them with like the big bubble wrap, because these will bruise easy and then they get all messed up. So once they're ripe, you got to take care of them, and then I'd bring them home, put them in my fridge, and then I'd eat, one or two a day. They're some of my favorite fruits. So I'm really interested to see how Vegas-grown pawpaws compare to the pawpaws back east, which is more of an appropriate climate for the pawpaws, although Derek could grow a lot of things here in Vegas that you probably shouldn't be able to. So let's go ahead and cut this open and see. So how I like to cut it open, basically, I just kind of like to slice it right in. Maybe I won't slice it in half because I don't want to cut through the seeds and damage the seeds. So we're just kind of piercing the skin, and then we're going to rip it apart. Wow, look at that, man. So much fruit goodness on the inside. Let's go ahead and cut this one open. So that's one you had in the refrigerator, and actually that's my preferred method to eat it, because I normally put them in the fridge and have them nice and cold. To me, this tastes like a custard, vanilla, mango, tropical flavor. Super insane. All right, this one's cutting better since it's a bit more firm. Look at that. Nice pawpaws. Smell the fruit. Whoa, man, just smells so floral, so amazing. So we're going to take the pictures of both these fruits, and then we're going to continue with the video. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and try the pawpaw first. We will try the unchilled one. So here, Derek will give you the large piece because they're your trees.
Right.
I'll get the smaller piece, and when you're eating these guys, remember to spit out the seeds. Don't crunch them. The seeds are valuable. They can be grown into seedling trees, and the seeds do need to be cold stratified. But yeah, man, this is nice. The texture is so amazing. You could just squeeze it out, and I eat all the way to the skin. Like, I'll scrape the skin with my teeth to get all the fruit flesh out. Oh my gosh. These rival the ones I've had back east. Completely insane. The texture, I mean, it's not like any other fruit. It's like custardy, maybe like a cherimoya. There's the seeds right there. Mild sweetness. It's not like blasting you with sugar or anything like that. But what really does it is like it's really a floral flavor, like hints of vanilla, custard, a little bit of mango in there. Like a good mango, like a coconut cream mango, not like a crappy mango from the store.
Go down smooth like a banana though.
Yeah, like a banana. Yeah, like maybe the flesh, the texture is like a ripe, non-gritty banana.
I never know I'll be eating papa in Las Vegas in the desert. It's a good thing.
This is probably a world's first right here. Like, I don't think anybody else has done this, but maybe they have. I just don't know about it, but it's extremely rare. I mean, just to find pawpaws, like most Americans won't even know what a pawpaw fruit is. And Australians will think pawpaws are just papayas because in Australia they call pawpaws papayas, or vice versa.
So how you compare this with the one them in the country that you know about?
So the ones in the last ones I had was from Maryland, like maybe before the pandemic. So I'd say this is like on par, although they may have had a little bit better genetics. Because you have two varieties, and I don't know which one this tree came off of. But I mean, this is comparable to the ones I've had back east. Like, okay, so we put a range on it. So the best one I've ever had was maybe like a 10, right? If I believe I had the perfect one, which maybe I didn't. And then I've had ones that are like not so ripe off the tree that like they harvest them too early, right? Because they pull them off the tree because maybe they just don't harvest every day. Like this one was truly tree drop, so it should be truly ripe. Maybe you could let it set on the counter for a day, maybe get a little bit more softer, maybe put it in the fridge. Maybe it could get a little bit better, the texture be improved. And that's maybe like the worst I've had is maybe like a 4. I'd say this is a good solid 7.5. Like maybe not the worst, not the best, a little bit definitely above average based on the ones back east. And of course, this is the first year that your trees have fruited for you. So as time goes on, you're going to get them healthier, bigger, and even make more fruit. But this is quite impressive that you actually were even able to grow this. Like, I mean, just the pawpaw is just a testament to Derek's abilities on how he literally, loves the plants. I mean, I would call him like a fruit tree whisperer, right? He listens to the plants, gives them love, care, and attention, which, that's a real big part of garden that's not often talked about.
Especially when you start from one fruit tree and you get your first fruit from it, that's it. You keep on going on and on. You want more trees. You want more different type of fruit trees. And once you master it and you love it, that's it. Because you want to eat good things. Everybody want to eat good things. But just plant that one tree and continue from there. That's it.
But Derek, I want to ask you about the coconut. So I showed everybody that you're basically going on 3-year coconut palm here in Las Vegas, which is unheard of. I mean, you protect it, of course, in the wintertime. But what motivates you to grow the coconut palm here in Las Vegas? This is not the place you want to. Maybe people have coconut palms as like they sell them at Home Depot sometimes and Walmart for like an indoor house plant, and they probably don't really live that long because they're in like a 5-gallon pot. Most people never transplant them up. But you've designed a whole system to grow the coconut palm, get the exact soil mix, the right watering, giving it the right minerals. Like, what motivates you to do that?
Well, I love the beauty of the coconut, and I love to design things. So I put 2 and 2 together, and I love to eat good things. So especially tropical fruits, and all them things. So I said to myself, let me try the hardest thing, because I got so many coconut that if you watch my greenhouse, that's like a graveyard with coconut. But one thing I never give up, because I say I want to let it fruit and I want to eat from it. So for me to do that, I got to do a lot of failing. But so far now, so good, But it take when you start studying the coconut roots got so long. If you put it in a small container, oh man, you see the roots start ball up quick. You put it in a longer container, the roots start ball up quick. So what I do now, I put it in a long container, and I will let the roots start continue to run farther and farther, and I will just extend, the soil, and we'll see how it will go from there. But probably give us 2 more years, and we can really, really talk more about it, because that's when you really know over 4 or 5 years, if you will eat from it or not. But that's my goal now. Even if I get one coconut from it, then just like with the papa, this is the first one, first time we get something from it, you know what I mean? But once I start eat from the coconut, I will call John again and make we see. Or eating from the coconut, you know what I mean? But it's a good feeling to just look at the tree grow and not think about, oh, I want fruit right now or whatever, just do it for the love of it, you know what I mean? Once you do it for the love of it and just look at the beauty of it, it's like you're feeling like you're in the country or the island, you know what I mean? When you look at it. And just based on that, don't base on the fruit right now, based on the beauty. It's a good vibe when you go around the tree, you know what I mean? You look at it. If you go on the streets, you got at least stress or problem. You go by the trees them, especially the coconut tree, and just look at it. It will show you signs. If it look healthy or you look weak, you look at the soil, everything based on the soil, you know what I mean? And you give it much love, and that's it, you know what I mean? So we'll see how far this will go, 'cause every year it's a different story. Every year it's a different ball game. You never know what number will play tomorrow. Once you're dealing with something that you're learning, you try to experiment with, you know what I mean? But so far so good with the coconut. But right now, that's all I'm basing on, because the rest of fruit trees them, I already master it already. You give Jah the glory. But now it's the coconut. So I'm this close. Couple more years and we'll see how everything look. Yeah, man.
Yeah, cool. So he's got the dwarf coconut. I failed to mention that previously. And the other thing I'll reiterate, like his coconut palm, like it's probably one of the healthiest coconut palms I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen him grow up on the beach, and on the beach, you can't control the environment on the beach, and they get splattered, and they just don't look as healthy, but they still make it. I mean, I've been to nurseries where they have coconuts, palms in the pots that they're selling. Like none of them have ever looked as healthy as Derek's right here. Now, of course, this is probably the best time of year for the coconut because it's nice and warm. So, the trick is like keeping them alive in the winter time. So he's already done it, 2 winters now?
Yeah.
Going on the 3rd winter coming up here pretty soon. And, you have to pay attention to your plants. Like, I'm sure he's out there every single day. He probably doesn't travel in the winter, because if he travels gone for a week and he misses that one day, some weird thing happens, boom, it's gone. All his years of investment gone. So Derek, how many times have you tried coconuts in your little structure greenhouse, get that to go?
Well, one time I got a big tree in there ready to bear too, ready to have blossom. I said, you know what? I don't want no crazy vibe, so I won't really show it. But one time I grew it for like 4 years going to. And when I see one day, it's just the leaf just drop. And I was like, man, what's going on here? But for me, I don't get carried away, I don't get mad. I like to experiment. So I started dig. And when I look, it was a rat. The rats them eat up the root. The rats them love the root. I guess it's sweet for them, And the leaf flock, I call it the flock inside, They start from the stem, all the stem inside, they eat. I guess it's too sweet for them, you know what I mean? It's like, I would have said, it's like, not the jackfruit, but this one here, the breadfruit. They love the stem of the breadfruit. I guess it's sweet for them too. That's why I love to plant. No, I try them things now in pot. No, you know what I mean? Put them in pots, because now, after I see that one coconut died, I said, you know what? I'm going to try this one in pot, But it was doing good in the ground, you know what I mean? But no disrespect at the store them, but the one them at the store, I tried them, but they don't take too long before they died. For some reason, I don't know. But I order mines online where they come sharp, because that's a Fuji coconut. They grow sharp, Fuji dwarf coconut. You know what I mean? So they grow sharp, but many people say they grow short, but they grow tall, but I guess they take time when they grow, you know what I mean? So when it take time, I guess it bear in the country, them coconut will bear over like 2-3 years. It start to bear. Right now I have it over like around 3 years, and it still look young, But who knows, like I said, over 5 to 7 years, what it will do, Because we in the desert, everything's set backwards, you know what I mean? So we give it like a couple more years and see how the next move. But the one that I try in the greenhouse, they was doing good again. Like I said, one was doing good that I ordered online, but the rat eat it, you know what I mean? So I don't want to try it no more again because I don't know. They got a few rats again around here. You know what I mean? But now I try it in here. I can monitor it from the bottom to the top. You know what I mean? And the length of the tree, the highness of the tree, go by the length of the root. You know what I mean? So if you buy the tall tree them, which I ain't got no space for that here, if I buy the tall tree them, you know, worth it in the desert. So if anybody will try and you live in the desert, buy the dwarf. That's my best bet. You know what I mean? Because the one I have in the greenhouse, it was doing good, nice size, and it was dwarf again. And I tried the one them that tall, but they don't do too good. You know what I mean? But if anybody have the height for it, they can try it. But to me, the best bet is a dwarf. So once you got the dwarf, you're good to go. But if you all want me to fail along with you, I can fail along with you all. You know, just call me. I go at your house and help out. You know what I mean? But I use, for the soil, I use different type of soil too. You know what I mean? I never use one type of soil for my plants them. I use all different type of soil. You know what I mean? That's why I mimic the jungle. You know what I mean? Like you see all around my area, everything close up. You know what I mean? So what I try to say, so when I plant the coconut, I make the coconut feel like they're in the jungle. You know what I mean? Or by the water side, by the seaside. They got that humidness, especially when you deal with the tropical. So the one them I try in the greenhouse, they was doing good too, but like we say, nature again, you know, the rats them again, destroy it. So that's something new I'm trying. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, I mean, it was kind of fun to be here about 5 years ago whenever I came, and I saw a lot of the small projects you had. Like, I remember the pawpaw in the original video was maybe like this tall.
Yeah.
It was like still a baby, and now, I mean, I come back years later, and we got fruit. So, hey, let's try this other half of the fruit.
Yes, yes.
All right, so this is the one that's chilled. This is how I normally like to eat them. Makes the texture a little bit more like, I would say more like jelly. Like, I really like the texture and then just the coldness.
It make a big difference, the coolness.
You like it cold or just room temperature?
I love all my fruits, them natural.
So right off the tree, warm even. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
we still got this one is even a little bit warm from the weather outside.
Yeah, and especially early in the morning, let them chill overnight, sit overnight. And you catch them early in the morning, that's the best to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I just brought them back from back east, and I had to put them in the fridge, so I got used to eating them right out of the fridge. Maybe I should try to have a tree and eat them right off the tree.
Early morning.
Early morning, yeah, for breakfast.
So, all these seeds will be Las Vegas papa tree after this. I put some in the fridge, put some in the ground, inside the greenhouse, outside the greenhouse, to just try different, ways of growing them. Because, like I said, I don't really know nothing about these things, but I love to try. You know what I mean?
And that's how you learn.
Yeah.
And so the thing is this, guys. Either you could do trying on your own and experimenting and then waste years and years and maybe, have some successes and grow trees, or, you could have Derek come in and help you. He will teach you. He'll be your teacher. He will be your mentor. He will be your guide, right? Maybe some of you guys want him as your teacher. Maybe some of you guys, I don't want to learn about this stuff, Derek. I just want to have a backyard like yours and be able to come home after my hard day at work and have you plant guavas and avocados and the jujubes and the figs, and I want to have you have an area where you could grow protected plants, and you could come every week or every few days in the winter time to take care of it and make sure everything stays alive, right? He will do that for you. So Derek, why actually did you leave your good job being a bus driver here in Las Vegas to now go out on your own and help people to grow their own food?
Yeah, so I was growing and show it over YouTube, Facebook, and some people call me and some people say, hey, come and hook up my backyard. So I was getting too busy. So I'm gonna have to walk away from my original job and just say, you know what? I'd rather to go teach people and let them plant their own food and let them feel the vibe like I feel. You know, because it's all about vibe and how you feel, especially when you know you plant your own tree. Because even if I go and I plant the tree for you, I'm not the one that doing it. Because if you don't do nothing, you will be the one that enter you left your house and you come back to your house. You go right in your backyard. You look at your trees them, or sometime, you know, you get your hand water it. But you don't really have to hand water it, you know what I mean? Only if you want. Because I run the drip line, the drip system, everything. The sprinkler, whatever you want, I can do, you know what I mean? I always say, I claim I'm a farmer man. I know I'm a farmer man. Now they have the landscaping guys, you know what I mean?
It's different.
Yeah, man. And I can do what they do. You know what I mean?
And a lot more.
Yeah. And so my base on the farming, so I do the farming part. I grow the tropical them. That's the difference with me and the landscaping guy. You know what I mean? Even when I'm out there and I got project with my client them, I do the same thing, you know what I mean? And some of the landscaping guy, I work for them too. I plan for them, some of the landscaping guys. Because when they meet me doing my project, they be like, oh, you plant this tropical here? Because they're the one that come and do the cleaning and cut the big trees down and, you know, stuff and things like that. So when they meet me, they be like, oh, man, them guava looking good, or, you know what I mean, the banana looking good. Can you do it for me? You know, I give them my card, you know, because I got my LLC, I got everything, you know what I mean? Legit, you know. So these are the things why I walk away from my job, because again, I get so busy that I got no time to do my regular job, you know what I mean? And I don't want to disrespect no company, so I just say, you know what, the best thing I just quit, and based on the people them who need help, you know what I mean? So for most, so far so good, you know what I mean? Most of my clients them, the lawyers, doctors, police, you know, veteran, you know what I mean? Retirees, loan big people, you know? Well, everybody need to eat, so I got like clients them that don't really got money. But what I do with them, I just always, you know what I mean, tell them each time you get a paycheck, you go buy a little bit of soil. You have a tree, you go buy a tree from probably like Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever, you go buy your tree. You have it in the pot, you put it in the pot. I come and I tell you how much soil you need, where your location and stuff and things like that. And when the time comes and you got everything already, I can come over and just plant it for you. But everything, once you don't have no money, you know, take millions of dollars to have like what I have in the backyard. You know, you just gotta buy your stuff little by little, you know. And I will just come and I will do it for you, you know what I mean? I will tell you what to buy, how much bags to buy for each plant, because many of the plants them carry different soil. Not because you see the plants them look like the way you see here, but they carry different soil. So I can tell you what soil to get, how many soil to get, and boom, we can go from there. You don't really have to have money. You can just buy, like I say, buy little by little, you know. And that's the reason why you could say I walk away from my job, because I need to hit up the clients them and explain things to them the way it is going. Everything takes time, you know, so I can't be working. I go 10, 12 hours ship, then I go and meet clients and have to go and explain things to them. Then I have to deal with my own yard, you know. It's too much. So I say, you know what, let me go straight into the people them, job people them, and teach them how to plant this, or I can plant it for them, you know what I mean? And you ain't got to be, like I say, you ain't got to be in a rush, job people, you know what I mean? You just got to take your time, buy your stuff little by little, if you don't have no money, and we work with each other, you know what I mean? And make your backyard look like a forest, because right now, as we speak, everything going up. All fruits, veggie, everything going up, and it will just get worse. So that's why I walk away from my job, you know.
To help people grow food and eat real food, because there's so much processed food and junk food, and it's causing massive health problems with Americans eating all this fast food and junk food and poor quality food. So Derek, you want to talk about like eating your own orange that you grew versus like buying an orange at the store?
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not like General John to explain to people and say the way certain things taste, you know what I mean? But I always compare it with myself when I grow it in the yard and the store. So if I get an orange and I peel the orange in my yard, the smell is off the hook. I cut it open and I eat it. Oh man, to compare it with the store, there ain't no competition right there. But for me, I have to explain and to let you all know how it tastes. I cannot taste it. You just go to the store if you don't want to plant, you go to the store and buy the orange. Well, one day you come at my area and you cut an orange open and you taste it. Oh man, you'll be like, all right, I need to grow my own. You know, because many of my clients, they come here and they taste different fruits or the veggie, and they go home and they juice the veggie or whatever and thing. First thing come on their mind, I need to plant my own. You know, because my yard is the advertisement. My yard have everything. For a long time ago when I started this, I said to myself, I want to sustain myself where I can eat fruits or veggie all year around. Summertime, springtime, wintertime, all year. Night and day. I could walk in my back, not to brag, ja people, you know, not to brag. But I could walk in this yard, in my backyard, and eat something out of my yard anytime. Night and day, you know. Winter, springtime, summertime, anytime. And that's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? For everybody. You don't need no yard. You don't need a big yard. You could have a balcony. Everything that I'm showing you right here, you can grow in pots. And it will fruit for you. You know what I mean? So that's why I show my videos them. I show it in pots and out of pots. I show when I'm eating, I'm showing when I'm juicing, I'm showing when I'm boiling and drinking. Everything. In pots and out of pots. Yeah.
Yeah, so even if you have an apartment or live in a condo or whatever, you could have plants in pots. Even if you're renting and I want to have a garden but I'm renting and they won't let me tear up the backyard, Derek could come in and put things in pots and you could have a whole pot garden. Well, not pot garden, but container garden, right? So that's the amazing thing that Derek could help you do here in Las Vegas. So, and I would agree with him, you know, I want you guys to have something you could go outside and eat year round. And my backyard is like that too. Every day of the year, night or day, I could go to my backyard and eat. Now, granted, I don't have all the fruits that Derek has, but I have all the vegetables I'll ever need. And I, of course, have a few fruit trees myself. And, you know, Derek, another misconception I want to, you know, tell people about is that people think you can't grow food in the desert. Cactuses grow in the desert. We have all these rock landscapings everywhere. Things don't grow in the desert. You can't grow fruit trees and you can't grow vegetables. Well, I'm here to tell you guys that you can grow vegetables. My whole backyard is vegetables. And basically, Derek's whole backyard is basically fruit trees with some vegetables. So, Derek, you want to blow up this misconception?
Yeah, because people talk about you need a big space. You don't need no big space. I've got my greenhouse right now. That greenhouse have like, how many like? 37 fruit trees.
How big is it?
I'm not really know the size, but if you walk...
20 by 20?
Yeah, small. It's not big, small, you know. So, and you can eat all different kind of fruits from out of this greenhouse right here. You know, you have, I usually show it too, all different type of tropical, you know what I mean? And in the middle of it, have the pan. So that cool down the whole area, you know what I mean? So when you talk about big area, you don't need no big area. All what you need to always trim the tree to reach a certain height. And many people say, oh, you need the trees to be separate. You don't need them to be separate. You got to mimic the jungle because that's the good Lord. The good Lord, when you go in the jungle, all the trees them together and you can eat from it, from the fruits of them. You know what I mean? So that's what I mimic, you know, spiritually. You know what I mean? So when I come here and I put the pan, I start put different fruit trees, really, really tropical fruit trees, so they can combine with each other, shade from each other, cool each other when winter comes, you know? And that's the way to mimic it. But to separate many fruit trees, especially in the desert, when you separate it, that's when the heat come and the heat beat on it and kill it. Especially you don't know the soil mix. So you have to know the location. You have to know your soil mix. You have to know north, south, east, and west. Very important, you know. But to me, 100% is the soil mix and location. That's it. Once you know your soil mix and your location, you can plant anywhere on this earth. You know what I mean? And even if you go to an area where there is flood, in part of people's yard where there is flood, now I'm speaking to the country people them. You can grow in pots, you can go raise bed, and all them things I show over video. So from the country to the city, to the bigger city, there ain't no excuse for no human not to grow their plants. You know, because I'm not the one that said this, or John not the one that said this. This was from beginning of the time, from the time the Creator created the whole earth. He put Adam and Eve in the garden, you know. So that's where it started from, you know what I mean. So we just continue legacy, put it that way, to try to encourage people to plant their food. And just people, you know what I mean, don't watch my identity, you know what I mean. I'm a cool Rasta man. I got everything legit, like I say, my LLC. I got everything legit, you know what I mean. So who want to eat, they will eat, like I say. I don't do nothing secret, and they got like I said, I work for the police them. I work for the lawyer, doctors, everybody. You know what I mean? My neighbors are the same way, you know, police and everything. So, yeah, man. Enter the radio, you can call on the Rasta man, and I'll be right there. You know what I mean? But once you all give me a phone call, make sure you leave a message, because once I'm with my client, I don't really pick up the phone no more. That's it. You know what I mean? Because I got to pay attention to what I'm doing. I just can't just go dig. You know, take digging, just dig and put the plant there. It take a lot of meditation, you know. So, and it take a lot of teaching to explain to the homeowners them how to do it, because I'm not to be the only one that do it, you know. You will be right there too, and I will be teaching you all if you want, you know what I mean? If you all want, or if you only want, I can plant and run the drip line, and all what you all do, kick back and just eat. Simple as that. You know, I'm saying no kind of worry, no stress. You know what I mean? And in your backyard, will look like the jungle, just like you see here. You know what I mean? So that's the way it is. Yeah.
Wonderful, Derek. So yes, I mean, I would absolutely agree that if I was one to put in tropical fruit trees, even me, yes, me, I've traveled to different places, I've seen tropical fruit trees grow. I haven't grown any in Vegas except for some few experiments that didn't make it. I would call Derek, because he knows what's up, guys. Trust Derek. I mean, you have to just believe in him. I believe in him. I mean, he was who I would call if I wanted tropical fruits in my backyard. I wouldn't try to figure it out myself. Dude, I would call the expert, because he's been doing this for 10 years, and I see and have eaten some of the fruits of his labor that he's doing. So yeah, trust in the process, trust in Derek. He will definitely take care of you. So Derek, if somebody wants to get a hold of you to put in a, you know, tropical fruits or even just regular fruit trees, because I know you deal with that too, or even just a vegetable garden, if they don't want to do any work, because I don't, you know, you can't hire me to put in gardens, but Derek will glad to help you out with that. How can somebody contact you?
Well, you can contact me over YouTube or my business phone line, 702-759-9781, Abba Garden LLC. You can reach me on there. You can catch me on Abba Garden, ABAH, that's Abba Garden, you know. So you can always find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You know, we're spreading the love when it comes to planting. You know, we have to spread the love. We have to be all over the channel them. Okay, only few people doing it, you know what I mean? Only few people talking about eating healthy, like John, myself, and a few other people talking about eating healthy and eat the right thing. You know what I mean? Stay away from certain foods, stay away from certain things. Come on now, we like the outlaw. We deal with the real, on the food side, in a good way, you know what I mean? Not in a bad way, you know what I mean? But other big people watch us that, hey, them people really teaching people to be healthy and to be strong. So people don't like that, you know what I mean? Because come on now, the doctors need to eat too. So they want you to eat the right thing to go to them when you don't feel good. Not to say it that way, but it's just life, you know what I mean? But we here as your people to teach you all the right thing. Eat the right thing, and like I said, you give me a call and your yard will be changing up like this. If you don't really have the money, buy things little by little. You let me go check your yard for you. I will tell you what soil to buy. You know, you stock up on your soil. You know what I mean? You buy your trees, you stock up on your trees, and when you're ready, you give me a call and I'm going to mix them soil for you. Because mixing soil is like cooking, like in cooking soup. You know what I mean? You got to know your soil mix. Once you know your soil mix, I could just plant 2, 3 for you and you can continue the rest. You know what I mean? If I plant 2, 3 for you, you pay attention as a student. And after that, if you think you have it, you got it, then you can go ahead. But if you don't got it, then you could call me again and be like, oh, so what you doing for this and whoop? Then I can tell you one thing, you know. So that's the way it is, you know. So until you're ready, like I said, you all can reach me at my phone number, 702-759-9781. Derek Martinez, Abba Garden, LLC.
Wonderful, Derek. Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, basically, here's the thing, guys. This is a technique if you guys live in Las Vegas and the surrounding area to grow food. Number one, you want to grow vegetables. Watch my YouTube channel, right? I provide free information on my YouTube channel how you guys could do it yourself. That being said, you can't hire me to come do that work. Number two, if you want to grow fruit trees, right? Check out Derek's YouTube channel. He puts out content faster than I can and a lot of content, and you could learn from his videos and then do it yourself. So if you want to save all the money, do it yourself. We'll show you guys how on our channels. Next step, if you guys don't want to do it yourself and you have a little bit of money, or maybe you've tried it yourself in the past and it didn't work, and you failed, right? Then give Derek a call. He will be there to come out. You could hire him to teach you in person, to demonstrate putting in 2 fruit trees, you know, and mix up your soil, which is the hardest part, honestly, because both me and him have the touch. I mean, I would probably call him if I was doing a fruit tree, exotic fruit tree mix, although I have a really good basis on what I need to do for fruit trees. I've mixed up a lot myself. But he'll help you with a mix, and then he'll do 2. You could do the rest, save lots of money that way. And of course, I know a lot of you guys have full-time jobs. You don't want to get your hands dirty, but you guys want to have a beautiful garden, be able to eat out of your garden, be more resilient in case, you know, things happen in society and there's no more food coming in the grocery stores like there was just a few years ago. You could be more resilient by growing your own food already in your backyard, and more importantly, having higher quality food that tastes better than money can buy at the grocery store, because the quality of the food that's getting shipped and picked early is just not that good, guys. But you got to do the best you can. So hopefully, yeah, give Derek a call if you want to get gardening, fruit trees, vegetables in Vegas, from irrigation to location, you know, to where to put the stuff, to get in the soil. He will help you guys out, make it happen so you guys could be successful at growing. And hey, if you guys already have fruit trees and a garden that's not doing well, he'll come out and consult with you and teach you guys how to make it better so that you are successful. It's so important to me that you guys succeed growing your own food. And, you know, at my point in my life, I can't go out and do house visits. So I'm glad Derek is, and he's the #1 guy I recommend in Las Vegas if you guys want to make it happen. So Derek, one more time, what's your phone number for everybody out there?
702-759-9781. Abba Garden, LLC.
All right, wonderful, Derek. So thanks for having me out today. I really appreciate getting to eat your fruits today. Like, it's such a treat for me to be able to eat these fruits that I haven't eaten in so many years, and that you are successful at growing them. I mean, to me, that proves a lot in my brain, and plus just seeing your place again from the time I was here last. I mean, everything's just like overgrown and it just growing insane. So I could surely see through my last 3 visits that, you know, you're a man who really walks his talk, okay? So if you guys enjoyed this episode here at Derek's today, hey, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. More importantly, share this with other people that live in Las Vegas. Maybe you have friends and neighbors that want to be able to grow their own food, but they don't know how. Show them this video and get them introduced to Derek so that you could refer them and they could start growing their own food with Derek's help as well. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on new and upcoming episodes. I've come in every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning on the YouTube channel. And make sure you click the little bell to get notified as many videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. The past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 1,700 episodes at this time on the channel dedicated to teach you guys about how to grow your own fruits and vegetables at home. So with that, my name is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. We'll see you next time. And until then, remember, keep on growing.